Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Fintech Ki Baat. Today we have Kulin with us. Kulin is the founder of Onsurity, one of the leading SME insurance startups in India. Hey Kulin, thank you so much for joining us on Fintech Ki Baat and giving us the opportunity to learn from you. Quickly, we would like you to introduce Onsurity a bit more in detail and just a bit more about yourself as well. How did you got onto building it?
Sure. So thanks, Shreyas and Sagrika, for having me over at Fintech Ki Baat. I've been following you guys for some time and love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
So a quick background about me. First of all, Onsurity is a healthcare platform, not just an insurance platform. And I'll tell you why we call ourselves a healthcare platform soon. Just a quick introduction. I spent the last 14 years in the startup ecosystem, been a VC, been an entrepreneur, worked with a few high growth startups where I led partnerships and P&L responsibilities. And now building Onsurity. Onsurity is basically employee health benefits platform, and is trying to kind of redefine how we should look at health benefits, right? For long, obviously, people have been providing group health insurance, but that has only been the privilege of large corporates and enterprises. But when it comes to SMEs, there was really no product that was available. And this is basically, we are talking about 63 million organizations, which is, hiring 330 million people in India, right? And when they don't have any kind of benefits to give, especially on the health side, right? That is a problem worth solving for. Because
Definitely.
this is the backbone of India, which is contributing to almost 30% of our GDP, and I think that's where it all started from. My other co-founder Yogesh, he has been in the SME business and has also run his own consulting firm. And for him, it was a challenge for him to kind of bring any kind of benefits to his employees, and that's when I think started thinking about saying that, hey, what do we do for these kind of small organizations who are ready to even pay for it, right? So, all the time we start thinking about SMEs saying that they will not pay for it, right? But SMEs, are looking for products which are built for them, right? They are looking for products which are contextual to their setting. And believe me, in India, enterprises and SMEs are very, very different organizations. One cannot say that building for an enterprise and then removing a few features makes it an SMB product, right? And that's exactly was the inspiration for us to kind of start Onsurity and say that, hey, let's build for the SMBs and let's build from bottoms up, right? Saying that let's understand their requirements, and hence when we started kind of speaking to close to about 150 SMEs, right, we realized that the need of the hour was not just health insurance, but a lot of things which was inclusive of healthcare, wellness, and those kind of benefits, right? And hence that's been the starting point for Onsurity. And yes, we are one of India's first, and I think the youngest ones to kind of provide a monthly subscription-based healthcare program to SMEs to meet their needs.
So, Kulin, of what I understand, I think prior to this, you were working with ACO, right? And so I just want to understand a bit more on your journey, since you rightly mentioned that providing the insurance to the SMBs is something that you faced a challenge with, right? So maybe a little more depth into how did what motivated you to kind of leave ACO, who's majorly on the B2C side, and come on the B2B side to accept the challenge in first place? And how did you even meet your co-founder, and the first few phases of your startup, what did they look like? How did you overcome the challenges?
Sure. So at ACO, I was solving a very different problem statement. We were looking at more of, providing solutions to large enterprises, right? And they were more of B2B2C solutions, but always, looking at large enterprises and large volume games, for example, providing ride insurance to Ola passengers, or embedding insurance in every room night that was booked at Oyo, right? And obviously those are high volume kind of products. But at the end of the day, whenever there was a smaller opportunity, right, it basically never fitted any insurance company's strategy, because it's very difficult to build solutions for small enterprises or small SMEs, right? And I think when I was kind of leaving ACO, and obviously I met Yogesh at ACO because he was my counterpart at ACO, where he was kind of building the insurance products as an actuary. So Yogesh was a consultant, and he left ACO and was kind of dabbling into what can be built, which is completely greenfield, which no one has looked at. And I think that's the time when he started thinking about building something for the SMEs. For me, what inspired me to kind of join Yogesh on this journey, and I say that it's completely, and we kind of joke about this, is that I'm the accidental co-founder for him, because I had left ACO to kind of go ahead and see if I wanted to take a sabbatical, which I've done in the past. And that's the time when COVID happened, and Yogesh said, "Listen, you know what? I'm building something on the healthcare side," and I was like, "But I don't want to build for enterprises anymore. I'm done and dusted with that." He said, "That's exactly what I'm planning to do, is that I want to build for SMEs, because no one has really built for SMEs in India, right? Because the sheer lack of technology, the sheer lack of ability to kind of service smaller companies, right, has not been existing. Around the same time, obviously, people were solving for lending, people have been solving for payments, but no one was solving for the health and health benefits. And I think, that's something that got me excited, saying that, yes, there are very different ways of solving this problem, especially when you can build the right technology and the right product for them. And I think, that's been, that's something that excited me. And obviously with Yogesh's, close to about 12 plus years of experience in the insurance space, and his understanding of insurance and our ability to together kind of build on the healthcare side, is something that really excited us to start India's first ever SME focused health benefits subscription platform.
Just a follow-up question on that. You mentioned yourself as health benefit platform and not insurance platform. So can you just give me a little more view about what exactly do you mean when you say health benefits and not just insurance? Maybe something about your product, or how do you operate in general?
Sure. So health insurance is a financial product, right? It has nothing to do with health care per se, right? Because health insurance is used at a time when you are being admitted to a hospital and you have a surgery or any kind of an procedure, right? So a lot of times companies kind of mistaken and say, yes, we provide health benefits, we are providing health insurance, right? Health insurance is a financial product, and that's how we are trying to kind of say that we need to rethink about, when we say health benefits, what are we really offering, right? And hence that's been and that's how we kind of thought about a comprehensive solution when it came to health benefits. So right from providing teleconsultations, and because we were a COVID baby, right, we knew that teleconsultations is something that is going to be very, very useful and the need of the hour, so that people don't have to step outside, right? So teleconsultations, discounted medicines, creating OPD products, right, which are completely out of the gamut of insurance, right? Creating products, which are more contextual to wellness, fitness, nutrition, and then obviously, combining it with, group health insurance and personal accident and term life, right? Created a kind of a comprehensive offering, which we felt will, obviously provide not only just financial protection, but at the same time, right, providing a holistic approach, and people can start utilizing this product on a day-to-day basis. See, 65% of our medical expenses in India our out-of-pocket expenses, right? So just imagine the amount of money that we spend, which is obviously not obviously in the gamut of insurance. And this is exactly where we wanted to play a role and say, hey, how can we kind of provide the right solution to reduce this out-of-pocket expenses of our customers, right? And that's how we kind of started thinking of a holistic healthcare solution rather than just a standalone group health insurance solution.
Understood. That's pretty interesting. So when you started building, let's say, Onsurity during COVID, right? I think you guys started up in the late 2019 or the start of 2020. So what were some of the major challenges that you faced in your entrepreneurship journey? Like what were some of the major hurdles that you faced since you were starting off during a very dicey time, right? I mean, it was a very chaotic time when you started off.
Right. I think, the COVID time was, had its own pluses and challenges, right? Obviously, at the time of COVID, everyone started talking about, health, and everyone started talking about the importance of wellness, importance of fitness, importance of building immunity, right? At the same time, the businesses, SMEs were kind of, seeing a lot of, attrition, a lot of businesses were shutting down. And I think we all have heard these stories either in our families or in our friends, friend circle, right? Where people are saying, listen, dhanda nahi chal raha, right? And people are kind of looking at shutting things down. At the same time, when COVID lockdown was getting over, people were looking at getting the people back into the offices or getting back to people to businesses. I think around this time, the challenge was in terms of one, that we were a completely new brand, right? And a completely new concept. So, making people aware about something like this, right, was obviously because people have not seen a monthly subscription program, right? So obviously creating that awareness and creating that outreach was one thing that, initially we saw as I wouldn't say a challenge, but it took some time, right? But what we quickly realized is that our word of mouth was very high, right? Because once a small business took this and they said, oh, wow, I don't need to pay upfront for a full year. I only need to pay on a monthly basis, right? The word of mouth was very interesting for us because they started referring businesses saying that, please talk to this person. This is a friend who's doing this. This is a business associate who's running a team of, 5 people. Someone is referring a team of 10 people, right? And these are kind of, that was the plus point for us, that our word of mouth became very strong. So I think that kind of helped us during the COVID time. And obviously our monthly subscription program helped us to kind of create a lot of adoption because people were not now forced to pay up for annual, what they call as annual premiums, right? But they were now paying, a subscription for a monthly basis. And the best part was that it was just not health insurance. They were able to actually, utilize the service that we were paying for and not just wait for someone to get hospitalized. So I think that really helped and worked in our favor. Obviously, some of the other challenges that we faced was, building the team. We remember that on March 18th or 19th, when we kind of said, I think we should go for, a self-lockdown. We were a team of about 18 people. And then I think possibly a few months back, we were a team of 150 people. So that journey from 18 to building a team of 150 people in a lockdown has been challenging. Right. I think, and getting people to be aligned to the vision, making sure that everyone is motivated, everyone has, the right, the right tools and the right, resources, right? Obviously, all of this was new for any one of us, irrespective of whether we've worked or not worked in our previous avatars, but this was all new. So yes, I think that was definitely a challenge of creating a passionate team and keeping them motivated all throughout the lockdown.
Understood. So how difficult or easy was it to scale up during this kind of a period? So like your entire team, like from 18 to 150, I would say almost 80% of that was built virtually, right? Everything was virtual. Your meeting was virtual. So how was that situation handled? Many startups have struggled to scale up and they are still mentally an 18 people team, but they have 150 people working for the organization and that is where the disparity lies.
Yeah, I think one thing that comes naturally to both Yogesh and me is that we've never considered ourselves as entitled founders or whatever those titles are. We've always considered ourselves as employees first, because we've always been employees all our life, right? So we always consider ourselves as employees. We always consider ourselves as, and we joke about it, is that we are the chief janitor officers of the company. जहाँ पे भी कुछ किसी को problem हो रहा है, वो हमको we have to clean that up. So I think one was that the ability to kind of think in this way helped us to kind of keep the people motivated. It was never about being a founder and then running the show. It was always being a colleague and running the show, right? To the extent that we have started now building a culture where we stop people from calling people resources. We tell, yeah, at least team members, don't call people resources, right? Let's call them team members. Let's call them colleagues. And I think setting that culture helped us to kind of keep people motivated, being always available, right? Over communication, right? I think those are some of the things that helped us. Obviously, apart from that, doing small sessions with the people, doing inductions, doing personal inductions, right? Helped us to kind of get to know people better. We've as in a small thing like just making sure that we ask everyone how they are doing during the lockdown, right? Small initiatives, right? And there's nothing rocket science in this, but that made people feel that yes, they are not missing our water cooler conversations, right? Giving a call to people and saying, yeah, let's not talk about business. What's happening in life, right? What's happening at home, right? I think those kind of conversations helped us to just not feel very remote with each other. Ability to kind of connect with people on a personal level helped us to make sure that people knew that this is just not a transaction based relationship that they are having with the company, but the company kind of cares for them.
Right.
That's very right thing to do, Kulin. I think all of us needed that kind of support in COVID. But we're talking about retention, employee retention and all. I think SMEs in India face a lot of challenge when it comes to employee retention. And the line of business that you are into, which is more of a health and wellness subscription, I think that kind of plays an important role when it comes to the employee retention or just employee welfare in general, right? So what are your views on that? What role does a health and wellness initiative in a particular SME has to play for employee welfare of their company?
Right. Very good question, Sarika. SMEs, especially when they have to attract talent or even retain talent, right, is a fairly difficult task sometimes, because think about it this way, that SMEs which have a lot of blue collar workforce, right? Now the blue collar workforce or the gig workforce, right, has so many more opportunities to kind of become a part of platforms, right? Say right from delivering groceries to delivering food, right? So a lot of those people are kind of will make a shift for the smallest of increment in their pay, because that's what matters to them. We've seen examples of restaurants where the servers have joined food tech delivery companies saying, "Sir, meko wahan pe benefits mil rahe hain karke," right? And that's exactly the opportunity that we saw, is that this kind of a retention problem, right? Because larger platforms, larger companies are able to give benefits, right? And see, the pay is something that today, every employer is ready to match, right? Every employer is ready to match the pay, but what they are not able to match are the perks and benefits that come with, say, a larger platform, a larger company, right? And I think that's where, health and wellness benefits, right, from providing it not only for themselves, but to their staff, to their family members, right, is something that has really helped people to kind of say that, hey, is the next platform or is the next person giving you all these benefits or not, right? And I think that's where health and wellness, especially post-COVID, right, has really become a big factor where people have been able to retain employees because of the kind of benefits that they are now able to provide. On the white collar side, or when we spoke to certain proprietors, business owners, what we realized is that there's always this whole challenge to get the right talent on board, right? Because they are happy to spend money because they have the money to spend, but people are not ready to switch the boat because they're saying, hey, if I come to your company, right, while you're paying me the salary, but what about my benefits, right? And benefits have become a very big part of, irrespective of the size of the organization, benefits have become a big part of your overall compensation package, right? And I think that's where attracting the right talent from large companies, right, benefits plays a very important role, saying that, listen, we're not only taking care of you on your compensation side, but even on your benefit side, we have the best plans available. And that's where we feel that health and wellness benefits, in fact, are more required by smaller businesses because then they can kind of get the right talent, and only the right talent will drive the success of a company.
That makes complete sense. And while you're talking about your model of what we understand, it's largely a subscription-based model, right? Which is not very often seen in insurance. It's a one-time premium that we pay. So, what are your views on just in general, how has it helped for you to switch into the subscription model, and what does in general the landscape of India look like when it comes to subscription insurance model, right? Because of what we're seeing of late, people like subscription models like Netflix, Spotify, and all of those are kind of struggling in India. But when it comes to insurance, it's more on the positive side, I assume. So maybe a little your views on the landscape when it comes to insurance subscriptions in India.
Sure. So from a subscription perspective, right, India has always been a sachet economy, right? Everyone loves to kind of, buy. No one wants to kind of, overcommit or, commit for a long-term perspective, right? And I think that's where, and especially on the SME side, right, where they are already, having a huge cost of working capital, right? There, if you ask someone to kind of, shell out, a lakh and a half rupees upfront, right, they are always going to think twice about it because one, it is not affordable. Two, that it is not contextually built for them, right? And three, that even after spending this money, right, they are not sure of the kind of service quality that they will be delivered because, there has been a subpar experience for many people when it comes to claims. And I think, that's where we wanted to kind of, play a very active role, saying that, hey, when we are building for these SMEs, right, we want to build a subscription model. And the subscription model should not only be health insurance, but all of these services together, because, there is a sense of return on investment for them, right? See, all of us, if you see, have always grown up on, those endowment plans of LIC and other companies where we have been told that, after a certain age, you'll get the money back, right? And SMEs also want to see that, if I'm spending, what am I getting out of it, right? It's just not a tick mark for them. And for Onsurity today also, right, 85% of our business is what we call as new to health, right? So these are people who are actually purchasing health benefits for the first time, right? So there's a large amount of awareness that we are creating. There's a large amount of hand-holding that we are doing today for these SMEs, saying that, listen, don't think about it in silos of just health insurance or just in the silos of, getting some kind of an OPD treatment. Think about it as an overall thing. And then you start seeing how it starts impacting your employees. And that's how, we've seen that subscription makes a lot of sense because it gives them the comfort that, what, if today I'm not happy with it, I can stop it after 6 months, right? I'm not committed to a long-term expense right now, right? And I think that approach, in fact, has led us that where we've, retained close to about 90% of our customers since our launch in July of 2020, right? So the most of the people who are working with, who are onboarded with Onsurity for their health benefits plan, continue to work because they, at the back of the mind, they know that, you know what, if I'm not happy, I will switch it off, right? And that's what keeps us also on our toes, saying that, listen, we need to keep giving, a great customer experience. And if we don't do that, we know that people will start, stopping this. So I think that has worked for both the ways, for both Onsurity and its, customers.
That's great. In fact, I think my first health insurance was through Onsurity in my previous organization.
That's amazing. Whenever we hear something like this, it sounds damn cool for us whenever we talk to customers also. So yeah.
Great. So I vividly remember, I was working with Abhishant earlier, and we were like evaluating multiple platforms, kahan se kaise karna hai and all of that. I think Pankaj was doing that for us. And at one point of time, he's like, we are going ahead with Untitled. They have like the easiest possible policy of payment and all of that. And since we were like a 5-people organization, it really made sense for us, right? Because getting a group insurance otherwise was a really pain for us. Because before Pankaj started it, I was also looking at getting a group insurance for us for almost 6 months, or kuch samajh nahi aa raha tha kaise kya karna hai. And then Pankaj, I think, reached out to you personally, if I'm not wrong, or someone from the team. And then essentially he's like, nahi yaar, ye karte hai, sahi lag raha hai, benefits वगैरह सब है, and it's a monthly piece. So we went ahead and did it, and I think that was like the way I got my first insurance policy.
Yeah. So in fact, just want to add one thing out here, that that's exactly what we wanted to do, right? Was that we've actually created a self-service platform. So, even corporates today take about 60 days to, buy their health benefits, right? We have empowered or enabled SMEs to kind of, take control of this entire thing. You can actually buy your health benefits just like you would buy an OTT subscription, right? On the Onsurity platform without talking to anyone. Just click, take your plan, make your, give your monthly mandate, and that's about it. So we moved a 60-day journey to what 2 to 5 minutes journey at Onsurity.
So definitely, and the user experience that you guys have built, I'm talking about my experience from like almost 8-9 months back, or probably almost a year back. Like when I got my insurance policy, I had my parents' card as well. So I told them to download the app on their phone. And it was like very easy for them also to see, we are also seeing the policy, kya covered hai, kya nahi. Everything was there on the app. There was no gray areas. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you guys have done. Like even other platforms I've seen, they don't have that mobile application and that, user friendliness from what I've seen. Like you have to navigate through a lot of menus and all of that. So that's pretty great as well.
Thank you.
So moving to the insurance landscape, right? Currently, what percentage of SMEs do you think, like when you look at the majority of the landscape, I think the majority of the employers in tier 2, tier 3 cities would be SMEs, right? So when you look at that landscape, what kind of percentages are you looking at when you say that what kind of SME employees would be insured?
So, from whatever studies that we've seen, and when we have spoken to people in our in our own capacity, I think some of the numbers that corroborated was that, and see from statistics, if you go at an India level, right, you have obviously the bottom of the pyramid, which is covered by the Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is about 550 odd million Indians. Then you have the top 115 million professionals who are, or HNIs, right, who are covered either through the company or via their own retail health insurance plans, right? But there's this huge chunk of 655 million people sitting in the middle, right? And we call it India's missing middle, especially when it comes to healthcare, right? Then these 655 million people who are there, and in their household, at least someone or the other who's working is associated with the SME businesses of India, right? Which is about a workforce of about 330 million people. Out of these 330 million people, we've seen that only 5% of them have health insurance or health benefits, and 95% of them have either aspired to buy but have failed, or don't even know that that they can also actually give health benefits to their employees, right? Here, most of the time, people are actually facing two kind of issues. At the employer level, they need to keep giving out loans, right, on medical loans, and that's their solution to it, of giving medical loans and not knowing whether that loan will be repaid or not. And places where the employer cannot afford to give a medical loan, the employee goes ahead and takes a very high interest rate personal loan, right? Which is, all of us know in this room that it would be anywhere in the range of about 20 to 25%. And believe me, someone who takes a 20 to 25% loan, right, is going to take a very long time to kind of repay that kind of a loan. And especially health expenses, right, which can in COVID, which has gone up to about 3 to 4 lakh rupees, right, is very difficult to kind of pay off when you take such kind of loans. And hence this is a fairly under served market, right, that no one has been looking at, and if they have been looking at it also, it's been a very, very myopic view of saying, and today, by the way, when we talk about SMEs, we obviously talk about startups, but startups are only 20 to 25% of our portfolio. We actually go behind those core SMEs, right? And we are serving them. So obviously startups sometimes, have the luxury to get, the products that they want, but these SMEs, right, which is possibly a person who's running a CA firm, which has only about 10 employees, right? Or someone running a small karkhana, right? A manufacturing unit, which has about 20 people, right? None of these people have any sort of, solution available for them. And that's, that 95% of the people who have zero access to health benefits or health insurance.
Understood. So I think what essentially you're saying is that there's a huge gap where these people are not insured. But how do you, like these kind of SME CA firms and all of that, how do you essentially plan to GTM more? Like, how do you discover these guys? How do you try and actually tell them कि यार ये भी आपको करना चाहिए? Because let's say out of 10 employees of a CA firm, maybe 6 or 7 are trainees, right? So my dad owns a CS firm and he has around 12 employees in his office, out of which maybe 7 are trainees and 3-4 are the full-time employees. So how would you talk to that kind of a person, and like what would be your approach? Like first discovery and then actually making them understand कि यार ये करना चाहिए आपको.
Right. So first of all, this is one of the advantages that we provide to our customers, is that see in the market alternatives or standalone insurance products, you only go ahead and enroll full-time employees, right? But in at Onsurity, we wanted to create a when I said comprehensive solution, right? It was comprehensive not only from a health benefits perspective, but also from a employment perspective. So we don't discriminate in terms of the type of employees do you have, right? In fact, to quote an example, and I think it's public knowledge that Ankur Wariko was once looking at a solution for all his interns, right? I think Ankur would have seen the entire. I think everyone would have presented themselves to Ankur. Let me put it that way. When Ankur going out and checking the solution, I think everyone would have presented to Ankur. But the kind of flexibility that we were able to give, right? Because no one was ready to cover interns at that point of time, and we were able to kind of provide that benefit, saying that listen, irrespective, right? People are still contributing to the company's growth, right? So then why should benefits only be given because you are a full-time employee and not and a contractor, right? So from that perspective, first of all, we provide these benefits to everyone, right? And that becomes a very big plus point for any organization, saying that, okay, you know what? No one is feeling bad in that small organization. See, small organizations are like work families, right? There is always those people who are so loyal to you, who have always been there with you. You can't say कि नहीं यार आपको नहीं मिलेगा, or you will not get it, and you will get it because you're full-time employee or because you're a contractor, right? It doesn't feel right. So a lot of times people just shy away from giving something because they're like, we can't give it to everyone. Then how do we kind of cope up those kind of things? And that's where we wanted to kind of provide a full stack solution for all type of employments. From a GTM perspective, one of the things that has really worked for us is our partnerships, right? So for example, we have partnered with Visa today, right, where we are kind of approaching close to about 4 million SMEs through their own network, right? We've partnered with folks like say BSC India, right? Where on their SME platform, right, where SMEs are getting listed, right, we are trying to reach out to those SMEs and making sure that they get these kind of benefits. So partnerships has been, a big plus for us, which has helped us to kind of, go to a larger market and, approach SMEs through these kind of partnerships. So that has definitely been one of that. Second is that, there are certain verticals that we have, realized that have a huge need for products like this. For example, the from real estate to, advertising agencies to CA firms, right? Where there's already, some amount of knowledge, but they don't have the wherewithal to get a product like this. So we've identified certain verticals. And the last one that has really worked for us, and I mentioned earlier, was the referral part of it, right? Today, 20%, almost 20% of the business for us comes through referrals, right? Where people are happy and they are kind of, saying that, hey, you know what, why don't you talk to this friend of mine? He also runs his own business. Why don't you please pitch to him, right? So I think, these have been our, go-to market, approaches to ensure that, one SME at a time, but, trying to kind of get, Onsurity to them. And today we work with close to about 2,000 plus businesses and have about 250,000 members on our platform.
That's amazing, Kulin. Just some. I have a two-part closing question for you. One is, what is your holistic vision when it comes to Onsurity? So, where do you plan on going from where you are here? As you rightly mentioned, you're in a scaling mode, and things start getting exciting again once you're at the scaling mode. So where do you exactly plan going after this? And second is, where do you see the SME insurance gap right now in India, and how long are we from kind of getting there where there's just right amount of insurance in the SME sector?
So I think I think your question kind of ties in for us in both the phases, right? That one is that from a Onsurity perspective, what we're doing next is that we've always been focusing ourselves as a consumer experience company, right? And I think that's where we're building more and more capabilities and technology, right? So be it our claims experience, where you can actually get your entire claims management done on our app, to making sure that right from recommendations of hospitals, right, which are the ones which are nearest to you, which are the ones which have got good ratings, right? We are kind of focusing a lot on the claims, the claims journey part of it at Onsurity, making sure that at the end of the day, consumer experience is not hampered. And especially at a time when you really need the product the most, you are able to drive that kind of consumer experience. The second thing that we are really focusing on is the entire preventive care and chronic care. So we've realized that there are no products available today which will kind of holistically look at these kind of gaps, right? So right from driving a holistic fitness solution by partnering with companies to drive, say, right from an AI-driven coaching to fitness solutions, where you're tying up with gyms and everyone, right? Putting all of that together in one single membership is something that we're kind of doing at this point of time. So making the entire product more holistic, right, and creating more use cases on the health and wellness side of it also, right? And the last piece that we want to really focus on is on the OPD part of it, because there are no solutions again for that. And that's where, where all of us, all of us in this room also are kind of spending our money, right? Right from consultations to, diagnostics, right? And we are creating products on that, making sure that the out-of-pocket expenses reduce for, these employees and their family. So that continues to remain a focus area. And investing a lot on the technology side, because without technology, we believe that we will never be able to achieve scale in a market like SMEs, which is fairly fragmented, and also a market which is completely new to health. And hence, to even distribute these products, we will require a very strong technology backbone. So that's what we're kind of focusing on at Onsurity. And to your second piece, I think there are multiple products that SMEs require today, but they don't have a place from where they can purchase these kind of products, right? Especially on the insurance side, where small liability products, shop insurance, and some of these products are not available to them. We see that there is a gap in this market, but we realize that as a company, we should be kind of focusing on one problem statement, go into the depth of that. So hopefully we will create products for them on some of these aspects also, but not right now, possibly in the future, and bundle these products as a single offering to our SME partners and customers.
That's amazing, Kulin. I think we're pretty much done. It was an amazing time talking to you. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast, Kulin.
Thank you so much for having me over. I really enjoyed the conversation too.